So my name's Nasutsa Mabwa. I'm the owner of Service Master Restoration by Simons. We're a disaster restoration emergency group in the greater Chicago area. We service Chicago, North Shore, Oak Park River Forest, and we focus on fire and smoke mitigation, water damage restoration, and specialty cleaning. And we've been in business for about 10 years now. I'm Evanston born, and I am the new incoming Evanston Chamber of Commerce president for 2022. And so we're really happy to welcome you today, Garrett Karp, our new executive director starting next Monday. And this is People You Should Know. This is a new collaborative storytelling project between the Evanston Chamber, the Evanston Roundtable, and Byline Bank. So we wanted to sit with you, chat with you, learn more about you because you're the new face of the chamber and you're going to be doing such great work and collaborating with so many community organizations and businesses. So I thought I'd just kind of go over who you are so readers can learn more about you. So
welcome to my new office. Thank you for being my first guest. Excited to be here.
Thank you, Garrett. So Garrett, let's talk about your background. Where are you from?
I'm from the Chicago area. I've grown up mostly on the North Shore and in the Chicago suburbs. I even lived in Evanston for a little while when I was really young.
Great.
And I've lived in Chicago in the city for the past decade or so. Went to Michigan State University, but aside from that, I've always been in the Chicago area.
So you're coming from a really interesting position, which is why I think you're a great fit for the Evanston Chamber of Commerce. Can you tell us about what you've been doing at your most recent position?
Absolutely. I'm coming from the Wicker Park Bucktown Chamber of Commerce. I've been there for not quite 4 years, and I've been overseeing their special service area. SSA 33 is arguably the largest SSA of its kind in the city of Chicago with a budget of almost $1.5 million. So that's at their Chamber of Commerce. And really working with the city of Chicago, several different city departments, their SSA commission, chamber board, and various committees and stakeholders on that in their SSA, which is over 14 miles of sidewalk throughout all of Wicker Park and Bucktown.
Wow.
So it's a huge area, and it's going to be really exciting to make the switch over to Evanston because it's going to be a very different vibe here, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's definitely a different vibe. You know, Evanston is a very unique town. Evanston is a university town, but it touches Chicago. It starts the North Shore. It's along the lake. It has a lot of different groups. It's super diverse. And I think that that's what lends itself to being so wonderful and why so many people are attracted to Evanston. What are some of the reasons that you think you're a good fit to take over the chamber? Or do you have any ideas of what you think you'd like to work on while you are the executive director?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just love Evanston, and I've always loved Evanston. I visit frequently, and many of my favorite businesses are here too. Places that I drive up from the city or take the train from the city to check out often. I love spending time on the Evanston lakefront, and that's part of what is so exciting to me is to be in this really cool community. It's a city in its own right, but it's also this world-class suburb, and it's university town, and it's just got everything. There's no other suburb that has the incredible density and diversity that Evanston has, and public transit and really fantastic businesses and cultural institutions and architecture, and being here to work with all the different cultural institutions, all the different businesses, members, it just really excites me. I've worked in Evanston on a handful of occasions, and everyone that I've ever worked with in Evanston, it feels like the biggest small community because everybody sort of knows each other. Everyone likes working together. Everyone really loves just promoting Evanston on the whole, and I think that's what's so cool about this place.
It's true. It's a very tight-knit community, but everybody's very engaged. There's a lot of engagement. People are very active, and there's so many great organizations, and people are doing really good work, and that means so much to so many. Can you tell us about maybe an important project you were working on with the Wicker Park Bucktown Chamber of Commerce before you start your position here with us that was maybe interesting that we'd like to hear about in Chicago?
Absolutely. I've worked on a lot of different highly varied projects in Wicker Park, Bucktown. Everything from branding to placemaking and streetscaping to purchasing new holiday decorations for the holiday season that go up all over the district. So one of I think my favorite things, or really two of my favorite things that we've been working on over the last couple of years in Wicker Park, Bucktown, are on Milwaukee Avenue, sort of that legendary stretch of Wicker Park specifically.
That's the heart, yeah.
Yeah, right. We've been working on a sort of a traffic calming streetscaping project over the course of several years, and building these large orange concrete planters into sort of temporary bump outs and sort of a tactical urbanism project.
Like a traffic calming.
Exactly,
more
traffic calming
experience.
Getting everyone to slow down, allowing for more places for shoppers and pedestrians to cross the street. And it's also been great for branding because orange was like our color in Wicker Park and Bucktown. So we have almost 80 planters on the street that we installed, which it was always kind of a moving target because you never could just leave them alone. They were constantly being moved, and it was an ongoing project that still isn't done today, and was a huge investment for the community and has been a huge success. And then in addition to that, making some outdoor plazas more hospitable and open, places like Metzger Court and the Polish Triangle.
Placemaking.
Where there really wasn't any seating. We've, especially during the pandemic, installed outdoor seating, lighting, things like that to just make it a more inviting place for people to hang out, and positive loitering, like, is what we're sort of trying to encourage in Wicker Park, Bucktown. And Evanston is unique in that the Chamber of Commerce and the special service areas are sort of split into separate organizations. But part of what also really excites me about being in Evanston is being able to work with all those different SSAs here, because a lot of them are doing really great work. There's a lot of really great public spaces, especially in downtown Evanston, and a lot of really awesome placemaking and branding going on already here. And I think collaborating between the Chamber and those SSAs is going to be something that I really look forward to doing.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful work. It's definitely a challenge, but I think it would be wonderful to see the SSAs and the Chamber working more closely together and finding common interests so they're more aligned as they set goals over the next couple of years. I think
Absolutely.
That's important.
And I've been in conversation, with those executive directors already, because they're people that I've known going back several
Great.
years. So I really can't wait to do that. I think things like branding and placemaking, they go hand in hand. So even though sort of the tax dollars are going to the SSA side of things, I do think that the Chamber should absolutely play a role in collaborating with those organizations and
For sure.
being a part of that.
No doubt. I mean, I am an urban planner. That was my background back in the day, UIC. And then I went into real estate development. But my first position was on the corner of North Dame and Milwaukee around the Coyote Building.
Oh, cool. I had no idea.
And I was a young 20-something social worker for one of the assigns of DCFS, and that was where the organization was housed, in that building. And then later, you had all the around the Coyote Fest, the art festivals, and it's so interesting to see in Chicago that neighborhood that's evolved with time. And now you're talking about placemaking, how you've activated public seating, lighting, it's safer, traffic calming. That really wasn't there when I was working, years ago. So that's really interesting to hear. How about talking to us about what you think would be maybe a challenge for you in Evanston? We talked a little bit about the different groups and organizations. You have the City of Evanston, you've got Northwestern University, you've got some major businesses here, you have smaller retailers, you also have, pop-ups, you have home-based businesses, you've got the different SSAs. Do you see any challenges as you begin your role as executive director?
Yeah, absolutely. The first challenge in coming to Evanston from the city of Chicago is adjusting to the address system. That's I'm still working on the city of Chicago street grid. But I think this isn't necessarily Evanston specific, but I think chambers of commerce right now are in a precarious position, and that goes back to even before the pandemic. I think sort of that value proposition, like, why does a chamber exist? What can it be? How does it best support businesses and its members while also supporting the community? I think that's constantly evolving, and evolving faster than ever, especially in the digital retail age. It's been accelerated by the pandemic with the situation with restaurants and in-person shopping and all kinds of things like that. So I definitely think I think there's a lot of stakeholders in a place like Evanston that all feel like that they have some connection to the chamber, and they're looking for buy-in, but we're also looking to attract new members, keep those old members hooked, and there's just a lot going on there. And I think there's going to have to be a lot of collaboration and a lot of listening to figure out how the chamber best sort of engages and advocates for the current membership while also finding out how to, support and advocate and recruit from newer businesses and more diverse businesses. And I think it's tough because so many new businesses now are one or two people working from home or working in a co-working space.
It's true.
And those are like the number one targets that really could use the support of a chamber of commerce or a business association. So I think it's going to be interesting to figure out how to engage all those different audiences, make sure that even people who aren't chamber members, whether you're a resident of Evanston or whether it's the city of Evanston, all feel like the chamber is supporting everyone and not just its membership and its board. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously not even the first day on the job yet, so I think there's a lot of listening and a lot of surveying to do. Yeah. And I think a lot of the first year or so in this position is going to feel like being like a consultant coming in from outside and doing a lot of listening and trying to find a lot of solutions and a lot of places to tie things together.
So we'll probably end in a little bit, but I did want to ask you, is there something interesting you can tell us about you as a person? I know you said you were living in Evanston when you were younger, your parents were here. What is something the audience might like to learn about you as you're incoming?
Oh, geez. I have, let's see, I have a lot of hobbies. Some of them you might even see me doing around Evanston. I am a longboarder.
Interesting.
I longboard everywhere, not just like longboarding for fun, but longboarding for like commuting, for transportation. I've even been in some competitive distance races on a longboard before.
Tell the audience what a longboard is in case some people don't know.
So basically like a skateboard, except it's not the traditional like skateboard that you see people using at a skate park. It's like a bigger longboard, longer board, larger, softer wheels, designed for for some people for long distance. Other people use it for downhill racing. I'm not a thrill seeker. I don't do downhill racing.
That sounds dangerous.
But people around Evanston are probably going to see me longboarding around Evanston to errands. I will probably even keep a longboard at the office, so I might show up for lunch meetings and stuff like that with a longboard, which some people might be a little bit shocked by that at first, but it's something I've been doing in Wicker Park and Bucktown for years already. But yeah, I really like to focus on all of those hobbies outside of work too. I play a lot of 16-inch softball.
Cool.
I'm a musician. Occasionally I'll tour with a rock band or two.
What do you play? What instrument?
Trumpet primarily.
Nice.
Every once in a while I get lucky and try to play keyboard and convince people that I know what I'm doing there, but I don't really. And yeah, I think those are probably the big things. I'm really a big fan of architecture and architectural photography. So
that's a good segue.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing your hobbies. So while you were working, at the Wicker Park Chamber of Commerce, you also previously worked on Open House Chicago.
Yes.
I also was involved in Open House Chicago when I was running the Lakeside Project in the U.S. Steel site for McCaffrey Group. So can you tell us about Open House Chicago and what your involvement was with that organization?
Absolutely. So for people who don't know, Open House Chicago is probably the largest architecture festival of its kind in the world at this point.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so the Chicago Architecture Foundation, which most people now know as the Chicago Architecture Center, has been running that event since 2011.
Yep.
I joined that team early on and started managing that program and overseeing it in like the second or third year. I think it was the third year actually. And we grew that program into like 40,000, or it was from like 20 or 40,000 participants in the first couple of years to over like 100,000 people participating.
It's a big deal. There's a lot of people who participate. Yeah.
And we would include like, over 250 different architectural landmarks and other buildings around Chicago and even a couple of its suburbs that weren't normally open to the public for tours and for people to get inside. And that's actually one of the very first reasons we sort of we met initially was because when Nasutsa was at the Lakeside project, we would bring people down there for tours during Open House Chicago.
Yeah, we'd run them around the 600 acres on the bus and show them the vision for a net zero community for Chicago.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
And we would bring tons of people to the south side. I loved when we would include, there was some really cool buildings in Englewood and Hyde Park and South Shore, and we'd bring thousands of people down there. But I think it was in 2014, we also expanded into Evanston, which was my first experience with the Evanston Chamber of Commerce.
It's like the hidden gems that people don't know about. And then you're in the know.
Yeah, so we started working with Design Evanston and the Evanston History Center and Downtown Evanston and the Chamber and a million other organizations to start showing off the coolest buildings on Northwestern's campus and in the city, and like the Evanston History Center, which is one of the coolest buildings.
There's a lot of
the
great
Dawes
history
Mansion.
in Evanston. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think it's on this poster we have somewhere in the office. Yeah.
But there are just so many cool buildings, and like we had people going on, like waiting to go on tours of Few Distillery and the Rotary Building and Deering Library. So it was just a lot of fun, and I met so many people in Evanston doing that. I met people all over the city doing.
It's a great networking tool.
Chicago. Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So that was kind of
Good
what
for
I was
you.
doing from like 2012-ish through 2017.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Garrett, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us, letting to know you a little bit more and hearing about your vision for the Evanston Chamber of Commerce as you take over as the executive director. Thank you so much for your time today.
And thank you for having me, Nasutsa. I'm looking forward to working with you.
You're welcome.